video?
We're on the record, Your Honor.
Okay. Video. Okay, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Why is the video?
Oh.
We don't see you, but we hear you.
No, they should see me. Oh,
There
okay.
you are.
Good morning. I'm sitting here in the late Judge Harder's courtroom.
Yeah.
And let me call the case. The case is D-22-646-896-C. We have the mom, Jennifer Crozier, and the dad, Garrett Crozier. Counsel, your appearance and your bar number?
Sure. Carrie Molnar, 9869. I'm unbundled in limited scope representing mom at this hearing, and I filed the notice of limited scope last evening.
Okay.
And so it states that I'm just representing her at this hearing.
Thank you, counsel. I
You're
don't
welcome.
see Garrett. He's representing himself, but can you
He's
hear
on
us?
there. He's on there.
Yeah, he can unmute.
I'm here.
Okay.
My camera's taking a second.
All right. I need both of you to raise your right hands, and my clerk will swear you both in.
You and each of you do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
Ma'am?
Okay. Oh, mom was.
I didn't hear Mom.
I do.
Okay, thank you. This
I
case,
do.
This case has a quite a history.
Okay.
But Senior Judge Elliott heard the case last time. You're supposed to pick a outsource evaluator, and it appeared from my notes that Dr. Bergquist, Kathleen Bergquist, was available to do the evaluation. I am aware that Garrett lives out of town. I think he's in Colorado, is that correct?
That is correct.
And that through the technology, video conferencing technology, Dr. Bergquist would be able to do the evaluation and have both parents submit to psychological testing. Was there any prior order, counsel, of the splitting of the costs?
There was not, but Your Honor, I did have a discussion with Mr. Crozier, and I'm sorry if I said your name incorrectly. I'm just going to say Garrett. I did speak with him for about almost an hour this morning, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to my own client since I got off the phone because we just ended our call about 8 minutes ago. But due to the cost of the evaluation, these parties were each ordered to file amended financial disclosure forms. They're not in the best financial position. I also received information from Dr. Collins, Dr. Sunshine Collins, that she's also available to take on this case because I had contacted Dr. Polini, Dr. Collins, and Dr. Bergquist. She's available, but not until the end of February to begin this. And she said based on the fact that it is an out-of-state portion, she would not be able to conclude the report and evaluation until about July. She's estimating that she would need $10,000 up front to start, and she's estimating it's going to go up to about $20,000 to $25,000. I don't believe that mom is in the financial position herself. I know her parents have previously assisted her, but they're retired. They don't have a significant amount of income, and they just spent over $100,000 litigating previously. So at this point, what Garrett and I had discussed is what I had discussed with Jennifer previously is possibly reunification therapy, which would be less expensive. The reunification therapist, if they felt a need to have either party psychologically tested, they could refer that back and recommend that to the court to take place. And then the kids would also have the third party involved in the counseling and meeting with dad before they just start going back. Now, what Dad and I agreed to on the phone today is we would like to ask Your Honor if it would be a problem to put this case on hold for a period of about 90 days to allow the parties to have some further discussion. During that 90-day period, there would be no visitation or contact with Dad. However, Dad would like to have it included that he can argue for, like, to defer the issue of any kind of compensatory time, or if they start reunification therapy, to have any visitation or contact with Dad recommended by the reunification therapist. And so I believe at this point, if you are okay with that agreement, we have agreed to that. Again, I haven't discussed it with Mom, but Mom was on board when I first talked to her about proceeding with reunification therapy and not having any visitation for a period of time. So I believe Mom would agree with me on that. And she can state whether or not that would be okay with her. Mom? I don't know if she's having internet connection problems.
She's got 3 bars. Oh, there she is.
Okay, Mom, do you agree with that? Have you heard everything?
She probably has no choice but to agree because of the cost of the evaluation.
Correct, but
Yes.
Okay, she agrees.
Okay.
Yes,
May
guys,
I
my
also suggest,
is
may I
not
also
before.
suggest something here? You have 2 teenagers. One's going to be 14 in March, and the other one just turned 15. And what you want to do with these teenagers is to address what are their concerns with Dad. And I understand they were interviewed. They had a child interview, didn't they, before?
Through CPS recently.
Okay. So with teenagers, you have to find out, and they've got minds of their own, okay? I've suggested this before. With teenagers, I suggest maybe you draw up a parent-teenager contract or have somebody draw it up for them. What is it the teenagers want, you know, in terms of each household and how to feel safe, secure, and comfortable? And if the parents enter into a written contract with the teenagers, and the teenagers would also have to say, you know, I promise to abide by my parents' household rules, not to disrespect them, to be polite, have good manners, and I also agree to do, you know, good in school and focus. And then the parents would say, you agree, you know, to abide by our rules. We promise not to verbally abuse you. We promise not to physically abuse you. We promise that we will provide a safe home environment. If that's something the parents can draw up with the reunification therapist, if they're able to do that, or a separate type mediator, draw up some, for the older two, draw up a parent-teenager contract. It sort of makes the teenagers feel a little bit, have some kind of say and a voice in that, and kind of treat them like, treat them like they're kind of mini adults, and that because they're going to become adults soon. So this is what we'll do, because I've got a packed calendar today. One, the parties have stipulated to reunification therapy. She's cutting in and out. Was Mom trying to say something? Oh, now she's down to 1 red bar.
No, ma'am. I agree with you.
Okay. Parties stipulate to a reunification therapist. Parties stipulate, number 2, parties stipulate to individual counseling for the children. The 2 therapists may communicate, obviously, to kind of get on the same page and get information from each other. So the parents would need to sign HIPAA release forms for the exchange of information for the purposes of what's good for the children. We could hold this case for 90 days. In other words, we'll just set a status check out and see where everybody's at. The part with no contact, is that no physical contact? Is he allowed to have text messages with the kids?
I don't think he's been exercising communication. Based on our conversation, and if I've understood this wrong, he can correct me. Right now, he feels it would be better for the kids to not have the contact with him for a period of time,
Okay.
until we can get somebody in there to help ease them back into some kind of transition with him
Right.
because of what's occurred.
So that the individual counselor and the reunification therapist will determine what those parameters are and what is the children's concerns, what they need to do to feel comfortable, feel safe. Okay. And so, there'll be no contact with dad unless the therapists or the counselors get together and say, let's try this form of contact and kind of break the ice. Okay, we'll have a status check a little bit after 90 days out because of the holidays, November, December, January. So we're looking at sometime in February.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can appear by Blue Jeans.
February 9th
Yes, Your Honor.
at 1:30.
February 9th at 1:30 p.m. We'll be placed
Your Honor,
on-
the only other,
Yeah, go ahead.
I apologize. I didn't mean to be rude. The only other agreement that Dad and I discussed, there was a prior order for child support that's still in effect out of Colorado or Utah, one of the two. At any rate, what we need to do is Dad was having his employer direct deposit his child support checks on a Green Dot card.
Okay.
The card, from what Dad explained to me today, the card is in Dad's name. The card is on Social Security number. So what's happened is nobody can get the funds off this Green Dot card. Dad's paycheck stubs show that the withdrawals are coming out, the automatic deductions are coming from his paycheck, and it's being direct deposited. Mom can't access the child support payment. What we've agreed today is I'm going to prepare in the order that Green Dot is to release any funds with that account. Dad's going to send me his communication where he authorized Green Dot to talk to Mom, so I have their information to put in the order. And then from here on out, Dad said he just had a payment. His paycheck was just done, and he just had a payment go on Green Dot. So what we're going to do is beginning the end of this month, he's going to split his child support into 2 payments. The first payment will be due on the 15th of the month. The second payment will be due by the last day of the month. And then that's either going to need to be bill paid through his bank to Mom directly, or I will get a bank account where the money can be transferred between Dad and Mom. So we're going to cut out the direct withdrawals from his check, deposit it in, and he's going to pay Mom directly beginning the end of this month, which would be November 30th, and then by the last day of each month and the 15th.
Okay, Garrett, can you do bill pay or sometime? Do you do Zelle or?
I can do any of the above. The reason for the direct deposit is it's automatic. There's no forgetting. There's no mismanaging. If my account's overdrawn, it doesn't matter. She still gets her money.
Okay.
That was the reason for that.
Okay, bill pay would do. You could do a recurring with the bill pay through your bank account, and it just sends out a check automatically, pretty much in the mail. You know, Mom would get it in the mail if it's bill pay.
Right.
Right, and you'll have good record keeping there.
Okay, so I'll just put in the order that he's to start doing bill pay to Mom,
Yeah.
and he has her address. It's with the court's file and thing.
Yeah, because that
Okay.
has the recurring feature. Okay.
And then as far as the choice of the therapist, do you want Mom to provide Dad 3 names of individual therapists and reunification therapists and Dad choose, or do you want it may be easier for Mom to provide the names
That's the
since
way
she's
we
here?
do it. 3 names, and then Dad, you can research them and you pick one of the names. Miss Molnar, when can you get the 3 names to Mr. Kosher?
I can get them over to him emailed next week. I just would need to talk to my client and see
Fine.
who's conducting those right now and who has time to do that.
And what about the cost of reunification therapy? They run about $100-150 an hour session.
Right.
So the parties
what
normally
I
would
would-
have to split the cost of the hourly session for reunification.
Right. What I had
Or-
talked to Dad about, based on their financials, is maybe if he could pay the upfront retainer, because they normally take an upfront retainer and then have the payment parties make payments later, to be later discussed with the court about reimbursement of a portion of that, just to get it started.
Since we don't have
If we're gonna go that
information, are you willing, Dad? Can you pay upfront? Can you pay for the next 90 days for your reunification with the children? I'll have Mom figure out insurance to take the individual counseling for each child. Insurance should cover that, or Medicaid. And Mom, will take care of
I
that.
don't have a lot of funds available,
Okay.
but I can definitely do my best. That's all I can promise at this point, without any actual numbers.
Okay, I think you'll be able to see if you can do that. Because it's important for you and the children to be reunified and get on the same page. It might also be, like I said, when I have people in positions where they don't have the financial means, you hire a private mediator to draw up the teenager parent contracts. And suddenly, change of attitude with the kids because they know that they have rights. The parents know that they have rights, and if everybody agrees to abide by those rights, then you are speeding things up because they're going to be adults soon. And we're running out of time, and we want to get the family stabilized again and normalize those relationships, be able to go visit you in the summertime and school breaks. So I'd give it a whirl and get that teenager contract done pretty quickly. You have any names of private mediators? I know there's the Southern Nevada Mediators Association can give you referrals. Why don't you go through there, pick 3 names, Miss Molnar, and have Dad pick one of the names, and find out their retainers. They're probably like, you know, a couple hundred, maybe 500 for a half-day session. I'm not sure, but
Your Honor, the only thing I would suggest is based on the cost, and if they're going to be doing reunification and individual therapy, I think that
You
would be
may
the
not
best
need
way to
that.
start this. Right. I think that would be the best way to do this because the therapist can see, are there issues? Are they legitimate issues? Are there big issues that something should happen, and maybe they don't find it's in the best interest of the kids to do a certain thing that a mediator won't otherwise know.
I understand. Okay. It can happen simultaneously. So you guys in the next 90 days plan, if you want to wait towards the end to do the mediator so that the therapist can
Okay.
get all the information, and then prepare the children to enter into a mediation session and have their rights determined and the parents' rights determined. And so it'll be a status check on reunification therapy, status check on
Okay.
parent-teenager contracts, which they would sign if they agree. And as far as the child support, they will no longer do green dot. Once that phases out, Dad will do recurring bill pay on the 15th and last day of each month from the bank account, and that check will be mailed to Mom.
And the status check will be on the individual therapy for the kids as well.
Correct. And that you use insurance or Medicaid to find the
Right.
provider. I'll leave that
So
to
that
the
may take us a
parties.
little bit longer. We'll have to get Dad's list of providers from
Yeah.
his, if he's still got the kids covered, and we can look through Medicaid as well.
So you've got half of November, December, January. We're coming back early February. Would that be enough time? You want to push it out like another month to early March?
Yeah, we could move it out a little bit.
Yeah, Miss Clerk, let's get something after early March. The family law conference is March 3rd and 4th, I think. So let's go a little bit after that, like March 9th, March 10th.
March 16th
Yeah, March 16th
at 1:30.
at 1:30. So let's change that
Okay.
to March 16th at 1:30. Okay? Council,
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Would you prepare the interim order?
Yes.
Okay, and does Garrett need to sign off on it and review it? Does he normally review orders? You could
I
email
have
it
only
to
been
him.
at one hearing with him.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a problem emailing it,
Give him a
giving
week.
him given the week, and then submit it if I
Submit
don't hear
if he
back. from him.
doesn't respond. Okay.
And that way I can send him the minute order with it.
And you lawyers know how to do those electronic signature deals, so that's
Yep.
okay. Hey, all right. Thank you.
Right.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.